Assalamu alaikum. I am starting with the name of Almighty Allah. Good morning, my dear students, and those who are watching me or listening to me in our online class arranged by Brahmanti Girls High School. I am Gaji Muhammad Munir Jaman, Senior English Teacher, Brahmanti Girls High School. We taught various items of grammar in the classes. Now I will teach you another grammar, a new item, which is very simple and easy for class 9-10. My dear student, notice me very carefully and give me whole concentration. It is a very important and easy grammar item. You will get credit mark in this grammar item if you give concentration to me. It is tag question. At the beginning of the discussion, I would like to define tag question. Tag means add something with another thing, and question means want to know something or inquire of something. So tag question means want to know something at the end of a sentence or a statement. For making tag question, we have to follow various rules, but at first we have to use a mother rule or formation of a tag question. Formation of a tag question is we have to use a comma after the end of a statement or a sentence, and then we have to use the given auxiliary verb of the sentence and then the pronoun of subject. At last we have to use an interrogative sign because it will be a question. That means tag question. So you will be more clear if I give an example. Let us discuss with the example. The students are playing in the field. It is a statement or an assertive sentence. We will make it tag question. We see a full stop at the end of the sentence. If we want to make a tag question, we have to omit the full stop first. We have to omit the full stop first, and then we will use a comma. After the comma, we have to use given auxiliary verb. That means the auxiliary verb which is used in the sentence. The auxiliary verbs are also addressed or called as operator of the sentence. So we have to use the operator or auxiliary verb of the sentence. Here it is are. And if the sentence is affirmative, we have to use not in the short form or contracted form. The students are playing. Aren't the pronoun of the subjects. Here the subject is the student. So the pronoun will be they. The pronoun will be they. And then we will underline the parts which we are added. Which we add. We will underline the parts. Okay, it is a tag question. We will see another example. The girl has done the work. The girl has done the work. It is also a statement sentence. And if we want to make it tag question, we have to omit the full stop first and then use a comma. After that, we have to use the operator or auxiliary verb of the sentence. Here auxiliary verb is has. And the sentence is affirmative, so we have to use not in the short form. Hasn't. Pronoun of the girl is she. And then we will use an interrogative mark or sign of interrogation. Here it is a tag question. The question has been added at the end of the sentence or statement. So it is a tag question. My dear students, you all know about auxiliary verb or operators of sentence. There are two types of auxiliary verb: primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Primary auxiliaries are am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, these. And these primary auxiliary verbs can also be used as main verb of a sentence. And these are primary auxiliary verb. And the other kind of auxiliary verb is modal auxiliary verb. And this auxiliary verb cannot be used as main verb. They are only used as auxiliary verb. And these kinds of modal auxiliary verbs are shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, dare, need, used to, ought to, have to, has to, going to, must. All these are auxiliary verb. Primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. If any auxiliary verb is present in the statement sentence, we have to use that auxiliary verb as the operator of tag question. So if there is reference of any auxiliary verb, we have to use that as a tag question. Let's notice another example. We must love our country. Dear student, what is auxiliary verb here or operator here? It is must. So we have to omit the full stop first, then use a comma. Then use a comma at the end of the sentence. Then you have to use must. Here operator, or here must is an operator or an auxiliary verb. Must. And it is an affirmative sentence. So we have to use not as short form. Must and we. So it is a tag question of this sentence. So let's see another example. The students should not misuse their time. The students should not misuse their time. It is also a statement sentence. You have understood clearly that it is a negative sentence. It is a negative statement. So you need not use not as a short form in the tag question. So please let us make it tag question. We are to omit full stop first. Then we are to use a comma and the operator of the sentence is should. And here is not, so we need not use not in the short form. Should. So we will only use after the operator the pronoun of the subject. The student, noun. What is its pronoun? They. And then interrogation mark. It is also a tag question. My dear student, I guess you have understood me clearly. Let's see another example. The players were not playing well. The players were not playing well. It is also a statement. It is negative sentence. So we will omit first the full stop and then use a comma. Then operator of the sentence is were. And it is a negative sentence, so we need not use not in the short form. So we will only use the pronoun of the subject. What is the pronoun of the subject? They. We have learned about the tag question of sentences which have operators or auxiliary verb. But if there is no auxiliary verb in this statement or sentence, how can we make them tag question? Yes, let's give example and rules. Dear students, I guess you have written all the examples in your exercise book and you will see or practice in the next time and you will practice more example and you will be alert or you will be confirmed about the tag question. So dear students, we will now make the tag question of those sentences which have no operators or auxiliary verb. The girls play every day. Notice, dear student, notice attentively what I am writing on the board. Number 2. Mother cooks rice. Dear students, we are seeing that both the three sentences do not have any operators or auxiliary verb. How can we make them tag question? Please notice or follow me. Firstly, we have to omit the full stop of the sentence, then give a comma. Then, if there is no auxiliary verb in the sentences, we are to use do or does for present tense and did in the past tense. Here, the first sentence is in the present tense, and if the sentence, the subject of sentence is in plural form, we are to use do as an auxiliary verb or operator, and if the subject is singular, and if the verb bears s or es at the end of the verb, we will use does. Okay, the operators will follow the subject, not only the verb. The operators or auxiliary verb will follow the subject, the forms of subject, singular or plural. So, here it is plural subject, we have to use do, and the sentence is in affirmative form, so we have to use not in the short form. The girls play every day, don't they? In the same way, we have to omit the full stop. Mother cooks rice. Here the subject is singular form. So, and the verb also bears s at the end of the verb. So, we have to use does. And the sentence is affirmative form, so we have to use not in the short form. Mother cooks rice, doesn't she? The boy made a cup of tea. My dear students, you have already known or you have already heard, I have told you that if the sentence is in the past form or past tense, we have to use did as an operator or auxiliary verb, as an auxiliary verb. So, we will use here did. And the sentence is also affirmative, so we have to use negative tag. Didn't he? It is all about assertive sentence. But if the sentence is imperative, what we will do? Notice, my dear student, if the sentence starts with main verb, or if the sentence is imperative, we have to use tag question as can't we, will you, won't you. Anyone will do. In this case, anyone will do. Will you, won't you, can't you. Notice, dear students, do the work. It is an imperative sentence. We will use will you, won't you, or can't you. Anyone will do. Anyone will do for making the tag question of imperative sentence. The sentence which starts with main verb. Open the door. Will you? Won't you? Or can't you? Anyone will do. But if the imperative sentence start with letters, we are to use shall we as tag question. If the sentence starts with letters, if the imperative sentence starts with letters, we are to use shall we as a tag question. Notice, dear students, let's, that means let us. Let's make a garden. We are to use here shall we oblique shan't we. Shall we oblique shan't we. Anyone will do for these kinds of sentence. And if the imperative sentence starts with let me, him, them, her, the tag question will be will you, won't you or can't you. Notice, let me do the work. Let me do the work. Will you? Won't you? Or can't you? Anyone will do. If the sentence starts with letters or let's, we are to use shall we or shan't we as tag question. And if the sentence starts with let me, let him, let them, let her, we are to use will you, won't you, can't you. Then go to another rule. If the sentence starts with I am giving an example. I am a student. I am a student. We are to use tag question here. Aren't I or ain't I? Aren't I or ain't I? Anyone will do. For this sentence, I am writing a letter. It will be also aren't I or ain't I. If the sentence starts with I am, we are to use tag question aren't I or ain't I. If the subjects of tag question are everybody, everyone, all, nobody, no one, none, somebody, someone, all as a subject of a sentence, we are to use they as subject of that pronoun. Subject of that pronoun. For example, everyone likes flower. Everyone likes flower. We will use a comma and then there is no auxiliary verb, so we have to use do, does or did. What we will use here? Here we can see that the verb carries as and everyone is a singular subject. But for everyone, everybody, all, nobody, no one, none, we are to use they for that kinds of subjects. So we are to use they, and they will not take does. According to the rules of verb, we are to use here does, but does will not take the subject they. They will not take does. So here we will give the priority for subject, not for verb. So we will here use do. And the sentence is affirmative, so we will use N, comma T, that is short form of not. Don't they. If the subject is some of us, all of us, every one of us, none of us, the subject of tag question will be we. Every one of us were present. Weren't we? For every one of us, all of us, some of us, most of us, we will use we as the subject of that tag question. Notice, dear student, for everything, something, nothing, all thing, if there is reference of thing, we will use it as a subject of that tag question. Everything is clear. Everything is clear. Isn't it? For thing, we have to use it as a subject. Nothing is impossible. Is it or is anything? Anyone will do. Is it or is anything? Nothing is impossible. For nothing, it is more excellent. And it is also good. For nothing, we will use anything. For nobody, we will use anybody. Nobody found. Did anybody? Nobody found. Did anybody? We can also use did they. Anyone will do. If we use did anybody or did they, anyone will do. Anyone will do. Dear students, I guess you have understood all the rules of the sentences for making tag question. You will practice more in your home. I have also another important rules. If any sentence bears hardly, scarcely, rarely, barely, seldom, few, little. These words, if these words are used in a sentence, we need not use not. We need not use not in the tag question. Hardly, scarcely, rarely, barely, seldom, few, little. If sentence bears any one of these, we need not use not in the tag question. For example, the boy rarely goes to school. The boy rarely goes to school. It is, we see it is a statement sentence or affirmative sentence, but it bears negative meaning. It bears negative meaning, so we need not use not in the tag question. Does he? Does he? Notice another example. The farmers can barely support themselves. Support the farmers can barely support themselves. Here is an auxiliary verb or operator, that is can. The sentence we see, the sentence is like an affirmative sentence, but it bears a negative meaning. Barely. For barely, we need not use not here. Can they? Can they? My dear students, I guess that you all have understood about the rules of tag question. You will practice at home more and more, and if you face any problem in these grammatical items or any grammatical items, you will call us. Any one of our English teacher, you will call us. We will try our best to make you understand, or we will try our best to help you in every steps. You will call us or you will phone us and you will solve your problem. Thank you very much everyone for watching me, and more in the next class we will discuss about another topics of grammar. Thank you everybody. Thank you all. I hope you will stay at home and stay safe, and pray to Almighty Allah for removing COVID-19 or coronavirus from our world. and we will be again united in our classroom, and we will amuse and play, take lessons sitting in the classroom, and we are hoping for that day. Now here is the end of the session. Thank you very much.